Good evening, fellow armchair Imagineers. BlueDragonFive here, and on this moonlit night, I'm burned with glorious ghoulish purpose as I give life to another electrifying and awe-inspiring installment of Disney Debates. Halloween edition! And tonight's haunted agenda boasts the following terrifying topics: scariest Pixar film, scene in a Pixar film, have to be technical. Which Disney attraction do you turn into a Halloween movie? And which dead Disney character do you make a Frankenstein?
You're a Frankenstein.
Now it's the haunting hour, so grab a shovel, count to 3, and board the Omnimover down to the abandoned arena so we can scare up some competitors this fine moonlit evening. In this spooky corner, there exists a Polynesian pirate legend too horrifying to tell. Suffice it to say, terror has one other name, and it is Tiki!
Boo, where my ghosts at?
And thus the horror's gone.
And in the other spooky corner, he's back! Burned at the stake, drowned in a well, buried alive, double dead, we thought. Run, hide, kiss your wives and children goodbye, because they call him Sandy Claus.
You said a lot there that really confused me. Burned at the stake? What about wives?
The monster theme, get it?
I'm confused.
Anyway.
Proceed.
And at my side, he's no Marty Feldman, but he's the next best thing. It's Jacob Wile!
It's pronounced weird. It's pronounced Wiley.
That's funny. All right, so how we doing, guys?
Doing well. Doing well.
Pretty okay. Pretty okay.
Doing all right.
Okay.
We're ready to get spooking.
All right, so a little quick refresher, because, of course, we're back with the Disney debate. It's going to be all kind of Halloween spooky, so a little viewer discretion advised here. Things are going to get really kind of creepy, silly, spooky, the whole lot. So a little refresher. So we have 3 rounds, which means 3 questions. At the end of 3 rounds, we will get to our optional, one of our favorite optional functions. They'll be offered to each of our competitors here. We call it a creepy coin. You know, like, very creepy.
Very creepy.
Which means we're going to offer it to both of our guys here, and once we establish who's going in what order, they will be offered again, they don't have to, but if they'd like, if it lands on, they choose to flip it. If it lands on heads, they gain a point. If it lands on tails, they lose a point. So, of course, we're going to do as we usually like to do here. We're going to go around, they're going to reveal what they've picked, then they will get into their opening statements, which essentially is kind of the what they're talking about, why, the good points, etc., etc. And then we get to the big kind of monster mash of it all here, the big old fight. Just going to let them swing wild until my little co-host here, not Jacob, R2, he speaks. We've heard enough. Jacob now deliberate. And that's all she wrote.
All right.
So do you gentlemen understand these rules as I have described them here to you this frightful evening?
Yes, without
Sure.
doubt.
Okay, got verbal confirmation. We're all good on that front. Okay.
It's not in alphabetical order.
Yes, so of course we gotta go to the randomizer here. You get the names in perfectly alphabetical order, like Vegas. I'm gonna shake things up, gonna randomize it, and what's our order?
Well, hold on. Let me actually, to be fair, There we go.
Sorry.
Let's see if Jacob has to go first this time, even though he's not even in the run.
All right, looks like
Randomizer.
Sandy's going first. I'm going second.
Okay, Sandman going first. Tiki right after. Okay.
The first category here.
Yeah.
Woo!
Okay, so all that said, you guys ready?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, round numero uno. What is the scariest moment in a Pixar film?
For my choice, I went ahead and went with Sid's room, the scene where Buddy basically completely freaks out over the monstrosity collection of toys Sid has created in his bedroom.
Okay.
Do you want me to just go
Not
ahead and
yet. Well,
debate this,
you-
or just announce it? Okay, just announce
Just
it.
say what it is. So you're doing Sid's room. Gotcha.
Yes.
All right, and I'm doing basically you want a moment, I'll give you a moment. I have a singular moment, which is just Lotso yelling at the Toy Story cast of characters. We're all just trash waiting to be thrown away.
Notice
Gotcha.
how these are both from Toy Story. I think they're doing this on purpose.
Yes, ironic. Both Toy Story. First one, the third one. What do you know? Very circular. I like it. So just a little refresher. What I'm looking for in the opening statements and in the fight, guys, especially the opening statements here. Again, this bear in mind, this is like the scariest moment of all time from a Pixar film. Right. I want you to recap it if you can. Again, basically, kind of sell it and just kind of win people over. Just kind of suck them into like the moment itself. You got to really kind of you got to illustrate in people's minds, despite the fact they can just really kind of pause this, watch, and kind of come back to it. You gotta sell them on.
Yeah.
All right. So when you're ready, Sandy, opening statement.
Okay. So the toys in Toy Story, the first movie, they dread this character Sid, as we all know, and Buzz and Woody end up in the bowels of Sid's room, witnessing just a complete slaughter of toys with missing heads, limbs, and just different parts, stuffing all over the place. Different body parts and lava lamps and things like that. Woody is freaking out. He's trying his very best to just get out of here. It's then when we get to the one of the main sources of nightmare fuel I had as a child. This baby, as we're all familiar with, this baby spider creature thing with no eyes. The animation in the first movie is really it's good, but it definitely is dated, and that does not help the or I guess it technically it does help in this instance, but these toys just look absolutely terrifying with all their missing body parts. The music is terrifying, the way it's framed, that just the expressions on Woody's faces, the lighting, it comes together so nicely in this scene. And actually, I think it's probably the most intense scene in the entire movie, if I'm not mistaken. This scene scared me as a child. I'm sure it scared many others as a child as well. Probably still does. Yeah, it's scary stuff.
Okay, Tiki.
Okay, so credit where credit's due. This is the original Pixar scary moment that I'm going up against, and I don't take that lightly. But my argument hinges around the fact that Pixar has gotten so much more sophisticated with the way that they actually scare their audience between Toy Story 1 and Toy Story 3. And so the reason why my moment hits more resonant with the audience is for a couple different reasons. One, I decided to choose the predecessor to the the whole apocalyptic, like the toys in the fire are about to get burned. I could have easily chosen that moment, but to me, that moment was more emotional than it was scary. And so I went with the real scary moment, the real moment that kind of leads into that whole, vaguely Holocaust-esque, imagery that is the terrifying dumpster fire scene. And that's Lotso betraying everyone, going off on this tangent, and basically self-deprecating himself and self-shaming himself to the point of just being totally psychotic. And to me, what makes this moment so disturbing and so skin-crawling is there's no redemption for Lotso. I mean, you're not going to find out 15 minutes later into the movie that Lotso's a good guy and that this, and that Boss Baby is actually cute, Boss Baby is no spider.
Tiki, it's not Boss Baby, it's just Big Baby.
Big Baby, right? My bad. But Big Baby is no Spiderhead baby. You know what I mean? Big Baby is terrifying and just awful, and there's no redemption for either of these characters. And I just think that Lotso just being so down on himself and so deprecating and just basically saying we're all just trash waiting to be thrown away. Just the delivery of that line. It's one single line, but that's what really gets to me. The one single line kind of sums up what's so messed up about this character on a really fundamental level. It's a really creepy moment, and I love it.
All right, boys, grab your verbal silver bullets and aim for the head. Fight it out.
Well, let's talk from the standpoint of a child here quickly, Tiki, because your scene is definitely scary, just kind of on a psychological level. But
yes, exactly. My scene's scary on a psychological level, whereas your scene is just kind of like it's creepy imagery for a moment before the creepy imagery kind of peels back. My scene is just dark and scary and psychologically intense before getting to something even more dark and scary and psychologically intense.
Yes. Pixar, I feel Pixar is kind of known for that, though. They're known for creating these brilliant stories that kind of toy with people's imagination. And I don't want to say manipulate people's minds. It's going a bit far, but just they make people think, and they make people consider all these things. And these are acting as if these are all real characters, they're real people that we care about, because we care about all these characters. But I think, especially for a small child, this the scene in the first Toy Story movie is a lot more intense. It really, because these scenes are both great. One relies a lot more on writing. The other relies on basically just more scene setup and character and things like that. It's kind of a double-edged sword of sorts, because these are both, I think, equally impactful scenes, each for different reasons. Is there anything you'd like to say? I think I've said my piece here.
I mean, I think my scene has much more of an impact because, like I said, because of the ramifications for it. Because these are not legitimately good people saying this stuff. This is a legitimately awful person who's almost Hitler-esque in his delivery. And I'm not just saying that, man, because this scene leads directly into that hellhole that that is the garbage can fire. And I don't know, just the fact that the line, we're all just trash waiting to be thrown away, comes directly before what I don't consider the scariest, but I do consider one of the most emotionally impactful moments of a Pixar movie. Is just such a creepy lead into that. It's just such a creepy, creepy lead into basically the toys in their lives all kind of crumbling down around them. And I don't know. I mean, you're absolutely right. I think your moment does play more on the visual element of it. My moment is way more on the writing. So it is a subjective thing, and I can totally see that. I think this is going to be a short round here. But I don't know. I really do think that there's something more to being able to legitimately creep out a grown man watching Toy Story 3 and make his skin crawl with how evil Lotso is and how self-deprecating and just we're all just trash waiting to be thrown away. It really is just shades of Nazism there, man. I mean, and that's what really disturbs me about it. And Toy Story 3, man, they went there. They really went there. And I feel like that's kind of the big pinnacle of the, of how dark Toy Story 3 actually is. Toy Story 3 is legitimately probably the darkest Pixar movie there is. So I had to pick something from Toy Story 3, and I think this is a very appropriate thing to go with.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. Jacob, what do you think?
Both definitely raise different points as to why their scenes are so scary, but considering even Sandy agreed with it, I think Tiki definitely brought more punches to his side and to his side.
Yeah. Guys, you gotta step the fighting element of all this up. I'm just gonna say it to you in round one here, okay? Because I mean, Sandy,
there's not much to fight here, though. I mean, we can't just make stuff up.
well, it's not about making stuff up. It's like you didn't say yours was. You guys just basically had like an agreement about it's subjective. I didn't quite hear you say like why yours was definitely like the scariest all time moment in a Pixar film. That's what I was waiting to hear. I mean, you had good setup. Your opening statement was great, Sandy. I just didn't really get a lot. Again, you agreed with Tiki that your that his moment was I gotta agree with Jacob's opinion on this. I have to give it to Tiki here. I mean, I think Sandy made a really good point, but he didn't tug on this at all. The whole like you need setup and you need context to fully experience this moment. That's like the only strike you really had against it, Sandy. I wish you would have pulled more strings attached to that because I think you had a good chance of winning this one.
Okay, all right. I'll keep that in mind for next time. I'm getting some kind of feedback here. It sounds like a small little.
Yeah,
voice.
Tiki, do we have headphones in?
I have headphones in, yeah.
Jacob, you?
No, I never have headphones in.
Maybe that might be it. All right. Well, maybe it. I don't know.
So Dragon, what would yours be if you had to choose a scariest moment?
Well, out of the two of these, that's the thing. I mean, here's.
No, I mean, like if you just had to pick one in general, what would yours be?
I'm going to skew towards Sid's room. Honestly, I think I'd go with Sid's room. I might cap it off at a different point in that scene, but I would use Sid's room compared to those two. Lots is a great moment though, and Tika's a little helpful hint. All right, so I think you argued this well, but just something you don't want to fall into the trap of. You hit upon some good stuff, like you're going with the whole Nazi-esque imagery and everything, but I'm lacking a why. I'm lacking like why. It sounds like you're just throwing the Nazism and the Hitler-esque comparison around, kind of like, hey, it just sounds like you're going for kind of some shock value on it. Not exactly.
I mean, to be fair, that is like the shock value of the scene. It really is.
Like specifically, Tiki. I mean, you said the line. You're saying the line perfectly. By the way, I love it. He's like, "We're all just trash.
We're all just toys waiting to be thrown away."
That's the thing, Tiki. You gotta stress like the trash thing has so much to run with the whole trashing. Like what exactly he's saying with it, and I think the Nazism you're scratching the surface. I'm just saying a little helpful hint. I think you had it. I think you could have just had even more down packed. But I'm saying good start though. Good start though. Okay, so First point goes to Tiki, and we're going to go to round two.
I have much more stakes invested in this one, so I think I'm going to fight it harder.
All right, here we go. All right, round two. I'm going to give you the full wording on this, just to kind of make sure all the specifics are covered. Which Disney attraction would make the best Halloween movie? Okay. Now, just a little fine print for the folks at home, just so you know, we're not counting movies that have already been made, like Haunted Mansion or Tower of Terror, so those two are off the table for obvious reasons. So
you mean just scary movie, right? Because Tiki said horror movie, you're saying Halloween movie. What's the just scary movie, right?
Well, you said horror movie, didn't you, Tiki?
Yeah, I didn't know it was supposed to specifically be on Halloween.
All right, fine. Horror movies. Does that play fair with everybody else? Horror movie, we're going to be good to go.
Yeah, I'm fine with horror movie. I didn't know about the Halloween thing either.
Oh, all right, let's move now. Okay, the point. Okay, anyway, so.
I mean, granted, the question was worded as horror movie.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It's a Disney rated scary movie for families. I think it's what we're all agreeing on here.
Pretty much, yeah.
All right. Okay.
Disney doesn't make horror, as I stated to Tiki earlier.
All right, fine. Scary / horror movie. All right, so who has what? So Sandy, what do you got?
Okay, I have Big Thunder Mountain.
All right. Tiki?
And I've got the extraterrestrial alien encounter.
Alien encounter. All right. Sanders, opening statement.
Okay. I'll get a chance to defend this after. Yeah, of course. Well, here's the thing. I really love Big Thunder Mountain. I haven't been on in years, but it's very vivid in my head. I remember being very scared as a young boy riding this It's you're going through all these different caverns, these dark caverns. Things are about to, going to fall on you. There's bats. There's a ghost town. There's a goat that's going to blow you up. There's so many different elements here that can just, I think, lend itself really well to a nice thrilling movie, not necessarily a horror movie, but a nice thrilling family movie with scary elements tied in with it. As I said before, the ghost town, the bats, things like that would lend itself very nicely to a horror movie. Also, just the whole Western theming of it is something that we have not gotten lately. Just in motion pictures as a whole, let alone Disney, we have not gotten much Western action. I think that'd be a really great introduction to a big Thunder Mountain movie as a big Western thrilling / horror flick. I think that'd be a really great idea.
Okay.
All right. So in terms of storytelling and world building, Alien Encounter was actually ahead of the curve when it came to Imagineering. It really was. Especially in that pre-show, where we get to meet the Tim Curry alien, the Tim Curry robot named Sir, who's torturing the poor little alien and basically sending the alien through a teleportation device where he comes out all messed up on the other side. That just gives you a sense, like a hit, a taste of what this could be with James Gunn directing. No, I'm just kidding. In all seriousness, this would be a freaking perfect James Gunn project, and it's a shame that he probably can't be involved. But in all seriousness, though, I feel like Alien Encounter is the perfect mix of, like, it would be a Disney movie that you could legitimately market as like a sci-fi thriller, but by the same token, you can get Tim Curry to reprise his role as Sir, make Sir like the main bad guy of the whole movie. And that alone, that presence of Tim Curry as the evil robot, would give the movie like this kind of lighthearted, like 90s movie cheese to it. So it wouldn't be totally, it definitely wouldn't be totally inaccessible for the kids, because the kids can latch on to the goofy Tim Curry robot who's also intimidating. And maybe there could be a good alien and a bad alien. You know what I mean? Maybe the cute alien that Sir is trying to torture in the pre-show could be the alien that the main characters are trying to protect. And then the bad alien comes is, of course, the alien that gets loose in the show, and that's where most of the movie's focused on. I feel like XS tech and the teleportation technology and all that different things, the Tomorrowland Expo, I feel like you could really build out that world. And I just think it would be a great movie. I feel like it would. I feel like the Alien Encounter is something that's not necessarily obvious, but it's a lot. There's a lot of fans out there who would go nuts for more Alien Encounter, and so I think it's a better fit. I really do, especially for a horror movie.
All right, guys, let's try to verbally kill each other. Go on.
All right, so Tiki, I've got a few things to say about this Alien Encounter movie. Given the fact that the ride itself was too scary for families, I think this would be a difficult thing to market because, like I said, this was too scary for families.
If the ride would have existed in MGM or Epcot, it would have been a lot more successful than it was at Magic Kingdom. Placement is what made that ride what it was. The fact that it was placed in the Magic Kingdom, that kind of killed it from the start. If it was placed in Hollywood Studios, I feel like that ride would still be there to this day because people know what they're getting out of Hollywood Studios more. And I don't think the same mistake would be made for a theatrical version of this movie. I think this would be a hard PG-13, much like Pirates of the Caribbean was. And you would sell this as like a red-blooded, sci-fi thriller.
About that, I really don't think this idea is original about, an evil alien coming to wreak havoc. I mean, we have the Alien movies. We just got Venom. They're the Thing. I don't think
that's why you throw in the robots.
Yeah, I know. But I mean, robots, you can't just throw in robots and expect it to be a fresh idea. I mean, but
you can throw in Tim Curry robots and expect them to be a fresh idea. And I never said it was a fresh idea. I just said that it was an idea that would harken back to like old school, like 90s horror movies.
I don't. First of all, I don't think Tim Curry's still doing stuff anymore. Second of all, Tim Curry's not going to save an entire movie unless, you know, it's Muppet Treasure Island.
It's Tim Curry. How many movies has Tim Curry saved, sir? I don't even want to get into that.
Okay, well, my point being here, I don't think the idea of an alien coming to, you know, frighten people is anything new. Like I said, we just literally got Venom. Alien Covenant was in 2017. I don't think this is going to lend itself well to a new idea. Whereas with a Western,
well, you know what? At least space thriller movies are a proven success. You know what's not a proven success? Action Westerns. Hello, Lone Ranger. Hi there.
Yeah, okay. I'm gonna all right. Okay.
Lone Ranger exists. Lone Ranger exists.
Okay, is that going to be your only argument against me? Because
no, it's not. But it's my opening argument against Big Thunder Mountain. I feel like everything you're pitching for the Big Thunder Mountain movie, from the ghost towns to the bats to the even runaway trains in general, that's all in the freaking Lone Ranger movie.
Okay, Lone Ranger was not an original Disney property. Okay, that movie was handled very poorly. You have the Big Thunder Mountain ride, both Disneyland
and Lone Ranger left such a bad taste in people's mouth that Star Wars Land happened instead of a Frontierland expansion.
You just keep riffing off Lone Ranger. That's not enough, man. Okay, like I said, like I literally just said, you have the Big Thunder Mountain ride to go along to help market this movie. Disney cares about its ride.
And I feel like Big Thunder Mountain at best would be Pirates of the Caribbean style horror, like at best, but not even that much. Like I feel like it's way more in the kind of the Indiana Jones Marvel style, like, you know, adventure movie, man. I don't necessarily think you're going to get a lot of horror out of Big Thunder Mountain. You're going to get some exciting set pieces. You're going to get some supernatural elements to it. But like I said, at the very most, it's going to be like Pirates of the Caribbean style. Like it's not, you can't really call it a horror movie at this point.
Well, I mean, that, you know, before the first Pirates of the Caribbean movie was made, none of that material was in the rides. They completely
not necessarily. I mean, the first Pirates of the Caribbean movie, they basically lifted the whole, the whole idea of the skeletons in the caves being the pirates that you see in the ride. They just kind of combined the timelines on them.
Okay, Captain Barbossa, the Black Pearl, that was not a part of the ride. Okay, Jack Sparrow.
No, but I'm saying the idea of the pirates turning into skeletons, that was a part of the ride. The cursed treasure, that was a part of the ride.
Yes, that was a part of the ride. I'll give you that. Okay. Jungle Cruise, that's coming out. Okay, I'm sure they had to make up a lot of stuff for that to make it a coherent story, because the ride itself is nothing more than a tour. Disney is known for creating material for movies that, you know, their rides do not offer. Pirates of the Caribbean, the new upcoming Jungle Cruise movie, Haunted Mansion. Not that's their best example, but they are known for doing that. Okay, they have people who.
I just think you're selling Alien Encounter short based on the whole Alien thing. I really do, because Alien Encounter, the world of Alien Encounter, offers so much more. It's quirky black comedy, man. It's quirky black comedy, and that's something that Disney can do really well. If you look at stuff like Roger Rabbit, and I'm saying like that's what the Alien Encounter movie could be like to me. Get someone like Robert Zemeckis in there to direct the thing, you know. And just have it be a really, really kind of atmospheric take on it, but with all these robot characters, it'd basically be a mix of like these sinister robots kind of controlling this evil teleportation company, and then the aliens would almost just be a byproduct of it. You know what I mean? The aliens wouldn't necessarily be these super genius xenomorph type creatures that stalk your every move. They would be more kind of like a natural disaster element of the movie. And
I'm guessing you're coming up with all this now that I mentioned Alien and the Thing and everything. You have to come up with some kind of reason that is not those things, right?
I'm just saying you can play into the claustrophobia of it a lot more. Like you can play into the dark corners and the crevices and the whole premise on itself is scary. With Big Thunder, you just don't have a scary premise. You don't have many supernatural elements at all with Thunder Mountain.
Yes, it provides the base. It provides the ground for what scary things and supernatural things can be built upon. Okay, I really.
But what are you going to do? Like zombie coyotes? Like,
wait, hold it, Sandy, keep going.
I'm sorry. What'd you say? Keep going.
Yes, keep going. You were saying something. Keep on.
Oh no, I'm just saying that the ride itself. That you're basically it's racing through caverns, escaping giant boulders and bats and dynamite wielding goats and ghost towns and things like that. That is a terrific foundation to, I think, a really great, classic, vintage style feeling Disney movie.
Exactly. I think you're pitching a classic vintage style Disney movie, whereas it's kind of leaning off of the classic vintage Disney.
You completely cut out. I missed all of that. I'm leaning on what?
Vintage side of the, but that's not what this question should be.
You keep
be available, be there.
Is he cutting it to you guys?
Yes.
Yes. I literally heard none of what
All
you
right,
did.
Tiki, were you saying it's reminiscent of vintage Disney?
Can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, yes.
Okay, I'm just really quick, and then we should probably end this round. I'm saying that basically what I'm saying is that I feel like Sandy's idea is more in the style of vintage Disney, where my idea pushes the boundaries for what a Disney movie could be and how you could really tie the limit to a Disney movie and a horror movie, where Sandy's idea just sounds like a good Disney movie. Like like Sandy's idea could be a Disney movie without any supernatural elements in it, and it would work just. My movie kind of relies on the horror of it, but it still has kind of that black comedy in it as well.
I think what this all comes down to, what this would come down to at this actual studio, if they were.
Hey guys, I got to make a quick phone call, so I'm going to put my microphone on mute really quick. You guys do the verdicts and everything, and Sandy can give his final thoughts.
Okay, I'm just going to say that Disney nowadays is making a lot of rehashes of what they've already done. I think it'd be really great if they made an original movie and reintroduced or tried their very best to reintroduce the Western genre into modern culture. If that can even be done, I think that can be done if it's done right. I think this would be a great opportunity. The Big Thunder Mountain ride and that whole property, I think that'd be a great foundation for reinventing the Western genre, really. Like I said before, Aliens, it's been done. It wouldn't surprise me if Disney wanted to cash in on this idea, but it's not original, and I think for Pete's sake, the original Alien Encounter ride was going to be the alien from the Alien movies, and that just goes to show you how similar these two ideas are. That's pretty much all I have to say. That's pretty much it.
All right, Jacob, thoughts?
Definitely an improvement from the previous round. Definitely a lot more brought to the table this time to work with.
Yep.
Although I will kind of point out the irony that it's usually Tiki's usually the one that usually points out, like, oh, you picked out the easy choice. Well, this time he picked the easy choice. So I just wanted to point out the irony in that.
That is quite ironic.
Yes, and honestly, that would lend to the horror element a bit more. And Sandy has definitely had a creative choice, but at least from what I noticed, he didn't really bring a lot of like how it would be exactly a horror movie.
Yeah, I'm kind of hearing that too. So here's where I'm coming down on it, guys. I think Sandy had a lot of excellent points against Tiki. I think he did. However, at the core of it, and this is what I gotta go by. Believe me, a part of me really wants to give it to Sandy, but it's the simple fact of I'm not. It sounds more like he's pitching a great. He's selling me on a Western Disney movie, not necessarily like a just a scary movie or again like kind of a PG-13 horror movie. You know, when you base on the scary barometer ranking for here. I'm not hearing enough for that. I'm not hearing a justification for why Big Thunder Mountain is prime. It's like prime material for a scary movie. I'm hearing why it's like worthy of kind of getting a franchise or worthy of being explored as a film, but I'm not hearing enough of that. And so I think he fought this round really well, but I think just what the question's about, I gotta give it to Tiki. I think Tiki leaned too much on Tim Curry. So
all right.
So,
fair enough, Sandy. To be fair, I thought Sandy had this one, so
No, I really did introduce a whole lot of I guess quote unquote horrifying elements in my pitch. So
did you catch my ironic thing for yourself, Tiki?
Yeah.
It's like you're usually the one like harping on people complaining about the easy choice, and you picked choice that time.
All right, on to my favorite.
What?
On to my favorite of the rounds coming up here.
All right.
Okay, round number 3.
Let's speed this up, guys. Let's try and make this one quick.
Okay. Which dead Disney character do you revive as a Frankenstein monster? Now, the parameters are it has to be a dead character. Basically, it's a Frankenstein. It's a stitched together, brought back electricity. The pretty much kind of the Frankenstein gold standard, pretty much. And what I really want to hear from you guys is kind of like the why, justify it as to why, and really sell me on it. That's what you guys sell me and Jacob on it, and kind of justify like why this character of all the characters you can dig up, why is this character, deserving of a second shot at life, doomed to fire by a windmill. That's what I really want to hear from you guys. So, Sandy. Who you got?
I went with Oogie Boogie.
Oogie Boogie.
And I thought this was all dead Disney villains. I didn't think it was just a dead Disney character.
I never said villain, Sandy. I just said characters.
Oh, okay. It doesn't matter.
All right. Tiki.
I went with Mufasa.
Mufasa. Okay.
Mufasa.
All right.
Okay, well,
and the opening statement when you're ready.
Essentially, why I went with Oogie Boogie is because he's a big, powerful guy. He's hard to defeat. Essentially, because he's nothing but bugs. I guess he has technically come back before. Not sure whether it's really in canon or not. I don't think it is, considering it's just a video game. But I think it'd be really interesting to see this character come back as a kind of a Frankenstein type-esque. I think it'd lend itself to a really interesting sequel of sorts to Nightmare Before Christmas. If the game didn't exist, I think there could be some interesting opportunity in there. I think it could be quite fun.
Okay, Tiki.
All right, so I'm going to keep this short and sweet. Mufasa is literally and figuratively the king of dead Disney characters, okay? When you think of a dead Disney character, you think Mufasa, all right? Screw Bambi's mom. Mufasa is the character. He's James Earl Jones, okay? He's like this guy is like the yin to Darth Vader's yang. And Mufasa is one of the most legendarily, iconically nice characters in all of Disney who died one of the most brutal and tragic deaths in all of Disney. That's why Mufasa is the perfect candidate to bring him back as a Frankenstein monster, because the whole idea of a Frankenstein monster is a reanimated corpse coming back in a perverse way, right? That's what a Frankenstein's monster is, essentially. And I can think of nothing more perverse than America's #1 father figure being reanimated is this terrifying, hulking, dead lion come back to life. I mean, it'd just be like, it's scar children for life, man. And that's the goal of the question at the end of the day.
Okay, guys. Grab your pitchforks and torches and fight it out.
So, Tiki, what you're saying is Mufasa wouldn't be coming back, being nice to everyone. He'd be killing people? Is that what I'm hearing?
Well, I mean, he'd be dumb, Sandy. He'd be like a Frankenstein. He'd be naive. He might kill a few girls, but it's only because she wouldn't give him the flower. You know what I mean? It's like I don't know. I just love the idea of like all the majesty stripped away from Mufasa, and what's left is just this hulking husk of flesh and fur. I mean, it's so disturbing and creepy to me to think about stuff like that. With Oogie Boogie, Sandy, I feel like Oogie Boogie, if he was reanimated, he'd just kind of do the same shtick. Like he'd be like, "Well, I'm back, baby." But with Mufasa, I feel like Mufasa reanimated would be a real Pet Cemetery situation. I really do. I feel like reanimating Mufasa comes with a whole different set of moral quandaries than reanimating Oogie Boogie. Because Mufasa would just be like, it'd be like bringing Uncle Ben back to life. You know what I mean? It's like Mufasa serves such a pivotal part of what makes The Lion King such a good story, especially his death, that if you reverse that, if you make him not die, no, things are going to get fucked up. I mean, it's going to be like it's going to be raining cats and dogs, man.
It's that whole idea of Mufasa coming back as basically a zombie lion just doesn't really sit well with me, especially considering the fact that
It shouldn't sit well with you. Frankenstein's monsters are supposed to be disturbing.
Let me finish. It doesn't sit well with me, not because of that reason, but because you're building Mufasa up as this great, a character of, he's this big Disney hero and everything. Where if you look at the Frankenstein monster himself, he was nothing more than a compilation of dead bodies and the brain of a serial killer. Frankenstein the monster was not this big. He was not supposed to be this big, prideful hero. I think you've got kind of the wrong idea here. I mean, if here's the thing, if Mufasa can come back as a dumb-witted zombie, just in and of itself, he seems kind of disrespectful to the character. Then I think Oogie Boogie could come back as equally as the same thing. It doesn't have to be this big evil sack of bugs. He can be
okay, but then what would a reanimated Oogie Boogie that's just kind of zombie-like even look like? It'd just be like a sack of bugs just walking around like, oh, I don't know. It still look like Oogie Boogie. It wouldn't have that same impact of like, oh my God, there's the King of the Lions. He has returned. It'd be like Jesus coming back, except Jesus is a zombie.
Zombie Jesus.
Emotional impact.
Jesus.
Sweet zombie cheese.
I never said Oogie Boogie had to be a zombie. I mean, Oogie Boogie could come back in any variety of forms. He could be good. He could be bad. The Frankenstein monster himself, he was not a bad character. He was a nice character. He wanted to help people. He wanted to help that old man. The Frankenstein monster, he cried and he clapped as the old man played his violin. I think seeing Oogie Boogie in that kind of disposition would be incredibly interesting. I think that'd be a really different take on the character, considering Oogie Boogie was in the movie a big evil sack of bugs. I think seeing him in that new type of situation, just this completely different mindset, not influenced by his previous life, so to speak. I think that'd be a lot more interesting than just seeing a big hulking zombie Mufasa, roaming around and doing whatever zombie lions do.
But it's the symbolism, man. It's the symbolism of Mufasa that gets to me.
Yeah, but I know that's all you're relying on is symbolism. Oh, this is big. It's the great, Pride Land Lion King. Yep, there he is. He's a zombie now. I guess that's pretty much it. There's no character there. With Oogie Boogie, there's a lot more character. There's a lot more to explore with this, with quote unquote a new and reformed Frankenstein, Bride of Frankenstein-esque Oogie Boogie. I think that's a lot more interesting. I
don't know. I still think if you're looking at the horror element of it, I just think the idea of like first of all, a reincarnated lion in its own right would be terrifying, right? Like, we don't often see zombie animals.
You're relying on shock factor, though. Okay, that's all you're relying on.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am relying on shock factor. Guilty as charged. This is a horror movie. I'm so, like, literally my job in this question was to come up with the most shocking thing possible.
Yeah. Yeah, you want to come up with something shocking, but you also want if you're making a horror movie, you got to have a good story. And if it's just a big, silly zombie lion doing again whatever zombie lions do, there's no story there. If you have Oogie Boogie
the story is Jesus coming back to life, but Jesus is evil, Sandy. That's the story of Mufasa's return to Pride Rock, okay? It's like their fallen king coming back to life and everyone sees him, and at first they're like, oh my God, he is risen. It's a miracle. But then we get to see just how wrong they actually are. That's the story, Sandy.
That's not a story. I mean, I guess that'd be a good build-up.
How is that not a story?
Where do you go from there? Where do you go from there?
All right.
Jacob, tell the folks at home how you're feeling about this round.
It's definitely interesting, to say the least. I'll give you guys that both very interesting picks. You guys will admit you kind of leaned into the zombie Jesus thing a bit too much on that.
Yeah, if I'm being honest, I'd give this one to Sandy.
Is that are you giving him? Are you forfeiting the round?
No, I'm not forfeiting. I'm not forfeiting because the bell rang before. But I'm saying if I were in the judge's chair, I'd probably give it to Sandy.
That's called forfeit.
No, I'm saying the decision. You guys should make the decision based on the arguments. But
okay, well, the point is your 2 cents in the matter is you if it were you would give it to Sandy.
I feel like Sandy understood the question better than I did, and he articulated it better.
Yeah, I have to agree.
Well, who am I to stand in the way of progress? You know what? That's the thing. I think you guys. It's a good round. Don't get me wrong. I think you both. Here's the thing. Sandy sold me more on Oogie Boogie than I ever thought I would, and I was just waiting for Tiki to take the obvious pot shots at Oogie Boogie, and he never did. So for that reason, I think Sandy impressed me this round, so I'm going to give it to Sandy.
Okay.
All right, so Sandy's got a point on the board, and we're at the end of 3 rounds. Also, a little shout out to Kellen O'Rourke, who's in the comments right now. Kellen rocks, guys. Check him out. All right. So, let's get to the creepy coin. Very creepy.
Very creepy.
Of course, the optional portion of our game. I'm going to offer it to Sandy. Sandy, do you want to tempt fate? Do you want to flip the coin? Do you want to risk getting a point or risk losing a point?
I'll risk it.
All right, Sandy's going to risk it.
And now Tiki has to.
Don't give it away, Jacob.
We'll see how Tiki feels. We'll see how Lady Luck racks Sandy in between, or she's going to reward him.
So heads and tails. What's heads? What's tails? So what's tails here?
You got tails, which means unfortunately you lose a point.
Back to nothing, Sandy. Okay, Tiki, how you feeling? Do you wanna flip?
Yeah, I'm gonna flip.
Okay,
I'm gonna flip. Ooh. Okay, so it's 1-0.
Okay. Surprising turn of events. Okay.
The coin betrayed.
All right, guys. We got 4 speed round questions, and if we need to do a tiebreaker, we will for a 5th speed round question. Dragon, do you want to explain the speed round and how it works?
Very simple. The speed round works like so. You got 30 seconds for whoever chooses first is going to go first, and we'll have 30 seconds on the clock for the main statements, and then a 15-second rebuttal afterwards. It's 30 seconds, and then it's 15 seconds. You follow?
Yep.
30 seconds, 15 seconds. Got it.
Okay, good. All right. Okay, let's shake things up a bit here. Let's go to a galaxy far, far away. So, gentlemen, which Star Wars character do you take trick-or-treating with you?
I can't hear you.
Which Star Wars character?
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking.
Oh, hold on, guys. I'm sorry. My family is like rudely talking very loudly right in front of my door. Hold on.
We're gonna put a mulligan on this moment here. We're gonna try that one over again. But
let's do some product placement.
yes, so just giggle it, everybody. Check it out. These guys know what they're doing. They're kind of the pinnacle of sketch comedy, and they're working on Harley Quinn, the Joker versus the Real World, show that's going to change in hearts and minds all over the globe. Watch episode 5, get those views up to 1 million, and we get more episodes. All right.
Okay. So the question was, what Star Wars character would you like to go trick or treating with?
Which Star Wars character do you take trick or treating with you?
All right.
Darth Maul.
All right, Tiki's got Darth Maul.
Oh wait, this isn't. You're not giving us options.
No, I'm to pick from the various catalog of Star Wars characters.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to give us like 2 different options.
No. It's just, so Tiki's going first with Darth Maul, and just pick anybody.
Okay. How about Yoda?
All right, Sandy's got Yoda.
Okay.
Like candy, I do.
So Darth Maul he's literally the most BAMFer in the entire galaxy, all right? This guy is hardcore. He's going to show you a night on the town. He's so intimidating that literally everyone will dump their entire candy bowls if he sparks up that double-sided lightsaber, man. I mean, this guy is just... And you want to talk about Halloween pranks? You want to talk about scaring the crap out of people? Darth Maul is your guy. No one is going to mess with you with Darth Maul.
Okay, I'm not exactly going to rely on a dark force user in order to have a good night trick-or-treating around the neighborhood. Yoda has his force powers. He's cute. He's small. He can stay off to the side. No one's even going to know he's there. He can use his force levitation powers to lift all the candy out when no one's looking, and still be cute on the side. I think it's nice, harmless fun. No one's getting hurt. No one's getting threatened. We're all just having a good time here. Just Yoda and me.
I don't even get the point of Yoda going trick-or-treating if he's just going to be off to the side. And not to mention, I really feel like, well, Darth Maul is going to keep the party going. Yoda is going to be the type of person to be like, be in bed by 11, you shall.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say he should be off the side the entire time. I just mean he can be there. People would sometimes won't even notice because he's so tiny. Yoda's fun. He's a fun guy.
He's a... Yoda, ladies and gentlemen, he's a fun guy.
All right, Jacob, who are you leaning towards on this one?
All right, let me deliberate. Let me think a bit. I mean, Tiki's closing argument was more directed towards Sandy, instead of like building up his own argument. Even though Sandy's closing argument wasn't much better in retrospect either.
Yeah, I think Sandy kind of ran out of gas on the end. I think that showed a lot. I mean, it kind of had me with like Yoda being kind of a cute little like Yoda and me. I thought was adorable. It's like, oh my god, Yoda and me. It sounds absolutely adorable. And levitating candy out of the bowl. I just wish we got a little bit more than that. And I think Tiki kind of had him with the whole being in bed by 11 thing. I don't know if it was a shot of Yoda being very old or not, but the point is, I'm going to give Tiki the point. So Tiki's got 2.
And neither you guys mentioned E.T.
Yeah, that would have been hilarious, but you know, it's
Okay, so I believe if I get this next point, there's no way for Sandy to come back.
well, let's see. So, we're only doing 4.
Because if I get this next point, then I'm up by 3, and there's only 2 questions left.
Yeah, I think it sounds right.
All right. So do or die time, Sandy.
Oh, boy. Yeah. Okay, let me see.
I'm probably gonna die a horrible death, but we'll see.
Well, I'm going to go with a big question then, just in case. All right. This is a simple one, though. It's an easy one. You guys got this one in the bag. All right, so best character in the Haunted Mansion.
Constance Hatchaway.
Constance.
Let's see. Let's see. How about Hatbox Ghost? It's a nice combination there.
All right, Sandy's got Hatbox. Oh, but guys, there's something I forgot to mention. Trick or treat. So this is a trick question. So we're gonna switch out one of the words of this question. Instead of best character in the Haunted Mansion, we're gonna take what you just picked, and it's actually worst character in the Haunted Mansion.
Oh man. Oh,
All
poor
right.
Sandy.
Are you kidding me? This is great.
No, I here's the thing. We'll get into it. Okay.
All right. You can try.
All right. Okay, you want me to start?
Yeah, well, whenever you start speaking, yeah.
Yeah. So Constance Hatchaway is by far the worst character in the Haunted Mansion because A, she's on that stupid Sony screen and it looks like she's a projection on a Sony screen and she feels like a projection on a Sony screen. And I hate the Jennifer Tilly kind of voice. I hate her puns, her death do you part puns. She's got a way darker backstory than any of the other Haunted Mansion cast members, which makes her out of place. She's just a bad character all around.
All right, Hatbox Ghost, old Hattie. He's a pretty bad character. I don't get why he's so popular. He's completely overrated. He wasn't even in the mansion for the first century. I don't get why he's so incredibly overhyped. He's overrated. It's a ghost with his head knocked off. There's nothing really special about that. You see the exact same thing with every other character out there. He's a big. All right.
Or
I lost it.
I feel like with the Hatbox Ghost, you don't need a lot of backstory to him. It's just the iconic status of him. Whereas Constance, I almost feel like there's too much backstory to her. It's like, okay, I get it. She's a bride and she wants to kill her. That Constance Hatchaway just wants to kill everybody.
All right, so what the heck is up with the Hatbox Ghost? He disappears for over 50 years. Then he suddenly comes back. Oh, surprise, everyone, I'm back. No, you can't just, as a character in a ride, you can't just do that. You can't just make surprise appearances whenever you darn well feel like it. That's not the way it works.
All right, Jacob, what do you think?
Hey, Jacob, here's a tip. Give it to T.
Actually, in this one, I feel like Sandy brought a bit to the table this round.
What?
I mean, other than that, all right. Honestly, I think you both.
Yeah, Sandy, I didn't think you did terribly, honestly.
I think both of you guys did pretty good.
Well, I mean, honestly, there was some truth to what I was saying. I mean, actually, honestly, I partially do believe what I was saying is, Hatbox Ghost. I do think he's overrated as a character. I do think that.
I can totally see why you think that.
You know what? I'm gonna give the point to Sandy.
All right.
Okay. All right.
All right. Okay.
All right.
So that's 2-1. 2 more questions to go.
All right. Best song in Nightmare Before Christmas.
Ooh.
Jack's Lament.
The way that keeps cutting in and out sounded really creepy.
Tiki chose a good one. Let's see.
There's a reason why I jumped on it.
Town hall meeting.
Okay. All right.
You want to go
All right.
first, Tiki, or should I?
Yeah, no, I go first. Yeah, Jack's Lament is everything about Nightmare Before Christmas, man. Of course, you've got Danny Elfman doing the voice of Jack Skellington. You've got that iconic shots of the moon and the hill and everything like that. That curvy hill. You've got great lyrics. You've got fun skeleton humor with Jack. And since I am dead, I can take off my head. But you've also got a wanting, you've got a learning, a yearning, and it's a classic I Want song.
All right, so the town hall meeting song, it's a song it's overlooked. You don't really hear many people talk about this song. It's a shame because it's in this song that really, in a sense, triggers the whole rest of the movie. The townspeople think that, okay, this is some kind of fun Halloween type holiday. No, it's not, and Jack completely lets them have their way. He even says, okay, I guess I'll just give them what they want, and that completely screws up Jack's plans. It ruins the rest of the movie. Well, it ruins the rest of his plans and completely sets everything up.
I just want to state for the record that Sandy said that his song ruins the rest of the movie.
No.
And no, I just think that Jack's Lament is way more iconic. Your song is really just a plot point song and nothing more.
Shots fired.
Jack's Lament is just Jack complaining. Jack has everything in the world. Everything his heart could possibly desire. He's the king of his own holiday. Okay. Town meeting song is not just a plot point, okay? It completely triggers the whole rest of what happens in the movie. The lyrics in Jack's Lament don't make sense either.
Yeah. Jacob.
I want to stop the clock. I never really thought about it myself, but I do kind of have to admit that he is right. Sandy is right about the town song being overlooked, and actually how important it is in the plot of the movie to convince everybody to do the Christmas thing. I never really thought of it like that, but it's not entirely inaccurate. And actually, I think Tiki focused on like that one point. It's like it's just a plot song. You said it ruined the whole movie when he actually didn't say that at all. And I actually think Sandy brought more to the table here and actually fought and defended as good as he jabbed.
Yeah, I think Tiki had the better choice, but Sandy fought better, so I'm going to give it to Sandy. I think Sandy Tiki he doubled back in the 15-second rebuttal, and again Sandy he stood his ground. He kind of took a few really good hits against Jack's Lament, so it's tied right now. It's 2-2.
It's 2-2 with one question left. We're in the sweet spot right now, guys.
All right.
Gotta pick what the last question's gonna be.
If I had to choose one to go up against Jack's Lament, I probably would have gone with Jack's Obsession.
Probably would have gone with Poor Jack myself.
Another overlooked song.
You're in an instant, gone in a flash. What does it mean? What does it mean?
All right, Jacob. Should I rock him with the Muppet question, or should I do something else?
This is potentially be a make it or break it. Muppet.
All right,
Muppet.
Okay.
Muppet it up.
Muppet it is.
And this isn't a potential make it or break it. This is the make it or break it.
All right, boys. This one's not an easy one. All right.
Oh boy. Okay.
Get ready for this, guys. It's gonna be like a draw in the Wild Wild West. So I'm not gonna list out the characters, but believe me, you're gonna want to jump on this when you hear. Okay, so in a Muppet remake of Sleepy Hollow,
Oh boy.
who would be, and this is two characters, who would be Ichabod and who would be the Headless Horseman? You gotta come up with two characters.
Ichabod, Gonzo, the Headless Horseman, would be Sam the Eagle.
I'm gonna have Ichabod as Kermit, and the Headless Horseman is going to be Big Mean Carl.
Big Mean Carl. Which one is that?
Big Mean Carl. Okay.
I'm sorry. Does someone want to explain who the hell Big Mean Carl is?
All right, Sandy, did you ever watch the Muppets, the TV show they did a few years ago?
Not really. No, I know who Big Mean Carl is.
Again, I think from the 2011 movie, he's the guy that's like, "How you doing, Jack Black?" That guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's Big Mean. That's Big Mean Carl.
All right. So whenever you're ready, Sandy.
Okay. Well, I think Gonzo certainly has the disposition to be a really excellent Ichabod. He's nervous. He can be a bit shy, but he's witty and he's smart. He does all sorts of weird stunts, which Ichabod certainly needs to do in order to escape the Headless Horseman. I think Sam, as the Headless Horseman, would be incredibly ironic since the Headless Horseman's not American. Also, just can you imagine all the goofy Sam one-liners as the Headless Horseman?
Have my pumpkin head, you weirdo.
Okay, first of all, Sleepy Hollow is a subsect of New York, so Headless Horseman is American. Secondly, I feel like Kermit is the perfect straight man for the job. I feel like Gonzo, you would have to play Gonzo as more of like a Brom Bones type because he's such a daredevil. Kermit's the straight man. Kermit's the obvious choice here. And with Big Mean Carl, you need to have two things. You need to have Big Mean Carl in a coat that's obviously way too big for him, and he's trying to push his head underneath, but he can't, and it's a fail. And you have to have the Big Mean Carl laugh as well.
I feel Tiki kind of killed the first half of his argument. Kermit is the obvious choice, exactly why he should not be Ichabod. I think Kermit could make an interesting Ichabod, but I think it's too obvious. I think Gonzo would make a much more interesting character. Again, Sam the Eagle, perfect fit.
I mean, I don't know what to tell you. Kermit's just the main hero type, so I really don't know what to tell you. Both Big Mean Carl, like I said, imagine just the hood pulled over him way too far. In the laugh, the whole like, yeah, ha, 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 I'm Big Mean Carl, yeah, ha, 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 ha.
All right, Jacob, give us a ruling. What do you think?
Just to clarify, the Headless Horseman's not American?
No, the Headless Horseman, Sleepy Hollow is an American legend. I would say the Headless Horseman's definitely American.
Okay.
Done some tellings, especially the Tim Burton movie. He's a dead Hessian soldier.
Yeah, that's
right. You know what? Whatever. I go by the Irving text, okay?
I said in some tongues. I didn't necessarily say the original one.
Yeah.
All right. Big J, what do you got for me?
Definitely an interesting case to be sure. Honestly, I would like to see a mixture of those two, with Gonzo as Ichabod and Big Mean Carl as the Headless Horseman. Yeah, honestly, I'd like to see that combination.
Or I was thinking of Gonzo as the Headless Horseman and Kermit as Ichabod. That'd be interesting.
Your nose sticking out.
Oh, that'd be even better.
He can't get the pumpkin off because his nose is sticking out.
I remember. Should I tell him what I pitched for it when Jake and I were discussing this question?
What was it? I forget. What was it?
I pitched. Sandy and I are kind of sympathetic. I pitched Ichabod as Gonzo, but what I had was Camilla was Katrina, and Brom Bones was the turkey from that Christmas TV special, and Rizzo was the Headless Horseman because he was so short in the coat you couldn't see him.
Rizzo was the Headless Horseman.
So that was my pitch. But anyway, so with what we have. This is a tough one here. Well, again, I think Sandy is at a disadvantage with the American fact. I'm not going to just, he's not dead in the water for that. It's a little correction, I guess. But
you got to give me that. I mean, he was an American in the Tim Burton one, just where I was getting
exactly. So I'm not going to hold that. I'm not holding that against you. I'm just going to a little factoid, just a little point to point out here. I feel Sandy was kind of. I kind of feel Sandy was on fire in his points against Tiki, that Kermit was kind of an obvious choice, and the whole Big Mean. I feel Tiki put all of his eggs on Big Mean Carl, and I feel. I don't know if I was necessarily sold 100% on Big Mean Carl, like the laugh and the oversized coat alone. I kind of wish he kind of hyped up like the more of the terror that Big Mean Carl could communicate. But at the end of the day, I think Sandy's going to call him out on kind of going with the safe choice with Kermit. And I think the big thing I really wanted to hear from one of you guys was the fact that Ichabod's he's not necessarily he's not as good a soul as you remember. Remember, he's going after the wealth. He's going after Katrina, the girl, and everything. He's doing all sorts of bad stuff there.
Well, that wouldn't really work with Kermit now, would it, Dragon? So there's a reason I didn't mention that stuff.
I know. I'm saying for myself, sure. So you know what? It's by a slim margin. Jacob, who are you aiming for? By the way,
Honestly, I think as far as strength of arguments goes, I'm going with Sandy.
you know, I by a slim margin, I'm going with Sandy too. I think Sandy by the skin of his teeth won this one.
All right.
Okay.
Good job, Sandy. Nice return victory there, bro.
Yeah, thanks. I'm kind of shocked. I never win these things.
All right.
Well, congratulations, Sandy. I think this is the second time you've won, actually.
Yeah, and like the 2 years we've been doing this, second time I've won.
Well, way to go, Sandy.
I gotta get running. So one of you want to do a final announcement or whatever?
Well, folks, hope you have a nice and happy Halloween or Kuskoween or whatever you celebrate, and we'll see you on the next thrilling installment, next electrifying installment of Disney Debates.